Chapter 11, Bonita Applebum. Do I love you? Do I lust for you? Am I a sinner because I do the two? Could you let me know? Right now, please. A Tribe Called Quest. Late November 1989. The school bus arrived in our neighborhood that afternoon like a royal chariot, and we stepped out as kings. The official decree was to get girls at any cost. No king wants a throne without a beautiful woman by his side. Hey Steve, you heard our boy Dez pull fine-ass Kalia? Sean shouted for the whole street to hear. He's been going with her for a couple of days and didn't even say nothing. Steve looked preoccupied. Man, my girl is tripping, he mumbled. Sean walked in front of him and put out his hand. Are you still going around there? Nah, she said her mom might come home from work early. That means we can't do nothing. He looked pissed. I knew sex was something teens probably shouldn't engage in, but now that I had a girlfriend, I had lots of questions and even more boiling desires. My dad and mom never talked about sex, so everything was left up to the world to teach me. I figured since Steve was somewhat of an expert, we should discuss details. What you mean have I talked to my parents about sex? Steve repeated like I was dumb for asking. Who talks to their mama about sex? Sean threw in his 2 cents. That's what TV for. My dad said, just be careful if you end up getting some. Be careful how? I asked. By wearing problematics. Sean, your old non-pronouncing ass. The word is prophylactics. You know, rubbers, condoms, Steve barked. Whatever. I bet you can't spell it even if you can pronounce it. That's it. I knew that. Nothing else? I asked. Well, what your daddy say? Steve wanted to know. Nothing, because I didn't ask him. That's what I wanted to say, but I kept quiet instead. Maybe I should have. I mean, I did run across his stash of Playboys during the summer. It just felt wrong to ask. Hold up. You're not a virgin, are you? Steve laughed. Because you sound like one. Nah. I was just asking because some people think, sex is bad if you do it before you get married. Well, bad stuff can happen, I guess, but it damn sure don't feel bad, Sean said with pride. And I ain't waiting till I'm married. Steve poked me in the chest. You talked to Kalia about sex yet? I pushed his finger away. I just started going with her. That's the perfect time, he shook his head. For you to be so smart with some things, you sure are dumb with others. After that, I definitely couldn't tell them I was a virgin, although I hope I wouldn't be one for long. Thanksgiving break 1989. During the late 80s, a lot of hip young dudes were getting fly styles cut into their hair. I remember seeing Nike signs, stars, crazy lines, and even names in graffiti letters on the back and the sides of heads. With that style in mind, I wanted my barber to cut a design in my hair to impress Kalia and show her how much I liked her. I thought about it, and the day Thanksgiving break started, I decided to do it. For this monumental endeavor, I went to Mr. Ulysses Davis barbershop on 45th and Bull Street. I had my bright idea ready. Now I had to wait for my turn to sit in the chair. The barbershop was full of these wood carvings that were hanging up on the walls. Whenever I had to wait, I wondered how he was able to carve all that artwork that was on display. Some of the art was strange, like something out of a dream, but I did recognize the presidents and the historical figures he had made. When it was my turn, I boldly stepped into the chair and asked him to put a letter K on the back of my head. Are you sure? How big and what's it for? He asked. It's for something special. Just please make it look fresh. When he was done, I was too proud and I wanted everyone to see it. Well, everyone except for my mom. Okay, now imagine this. You're young, you're full of yourself, you're living in the moment, and then you walk in the house with a big ass K cut in the back of your head. What do you think your mama would have done? As I entered the house, I changed the way I normally breathe and cautiously stepped in my room to chill. I stayed in the room for most of the evening, but when I came out for dinner, my mom saw it. Lord, what in the hell is that on the back of your head? She asked in shock. My first thought was, oh, mama, you don't know nothing about real love and this Mac I got going on, which I definitely didn't say. Then, once I collected myself, it's a letter K. She looked at it from every possible angle. Then she touched it to see if it was real. A K? What does that mean? It's for this girl I go with named Kalia, I said, yielding on every other syllable. She took a quick look around. A girl? Go with? Go with her where? Before I could answer, she paused and looked like she finally understood. It was one of the first times my mom laughed at me while I was very serious. Maybe she was trying to spare my young feelings and not make me feel too dumb about it, but she was not doing a great job. After she walked off, I immediately went to the mirror to re-examine myself. Man, please, I said, while looking over my shoulder to see if she was behind me. As far as I was concerned, this K was the freshest thing I had ever done in my life. I couldn't wait to show my girl. Would she run and hug me? Would she drown me in kisses? Would she want me the way I wanted her? Then it hit me. Fool, we on break. That means if I didn't see her during the break, my hair would have grown back by next week. This was an official problem, and I had to think quick, so I called Steve to see if he had any ideas. Why don't y'all go to the movies on a double date with me and my girl, he suggested. Bruh, you just saved my life. That's why you need a manager, he said. I told you a month ago, rappers can't count and keep their business straight. Whatever. Thanks, man. Thanksgiving was that Thursday, and that meant a big family dinner out at West Savannah at my grandmother's. I love seeing my family, and I always had a good time eating and laughing at the craziness that took place. Before we left to go, I thought about Steve's plan and decided to call Kalia. Hey, I'm going to the movies on Friday. Do you think you can come? I don't know. I may be doing something with my friends. Will it just be you? Who else will be there? You know my friend Steve, right? We're gonna go with him and his girl. Cool, but the only problem is my mother. She is gonna trip about going way out on the south side. Maybe I can get Jasmine to go with us. Our mothers knew each other, so that might make it easier for me to go. Now I was beyond excited. Thursday afternoon, we pulled up at my grandmother's for Thanksgiving. Her house was about 800 square feet, but usually when my family was packed inside, there was a lot of love. Everyone seemed ready for the festivities, but my mind was on Kalia and the movies. I got out of the car, and some of my little cousins were playing in the yard while one of my older cousins was deep frying a turkey. Inside the house, the aroma had seeped into the walls and every piece of furniture in the dining room. Everything you touched or got close to smelt like food. After we hugged and shouted across the room, people tried to get settled. Where everybody at? Man, the food gonna be cold, my cousin Yvette complained. She had made it in from Atlanta and was ready to eat. We could have started at 5 in the evening for all this now. One of my uncles jumped in. No, what you do is tell them Negroes we gonna start at 11, when we really gonna start at 1. Then they'll be on time, my older brother Melvin added. That made everyone laugh. Finally, my uncle the deacon said the grace. He thanked the Lord for all that we had and for pulling us through the tough times during the past year. We all held hands as he finished with, "To God be the glory, amen." Then it was on. In one trip, I grabbed some fried turkey, a heap of my aunt's famous Hudson Hill mac and cheese, and some of my other aunt's savory collard greens. I loaded up my plate with everything except for slavery food. You know, the scraps of food they threw out to enslaved Africans that whites didn't want. Even when I was young, I could not eat chitlins and pig feet for nothing in the world. That shit was out of the question. These brand new niggas think they too good to eat pork, y'all, one of my older cousins shouted. My cousin Sharif had tried to drop science over the years about pork, but it had always been a no-win situation. Hungry black people didn't care about eating healthy at Thanksgiving, even if they should. After I ate, I sat down with Sharif and some of my older cousins to play dominoes. Hey, cuz, man, I got me a new girl. I popped the collar up on my shirt. Is she pretty? Bro, I'm telling you, she's the prettiest girl at my school. Yeah, I can see how pretty she is by the way you look, he said with a grin. Be careful, though. Careful? I stuttered. Yeah, don't be a sucker just 'cause she looked good. After putting down his last domino, he added, you'll be round here like you in love. What if I was? I thought, but I dared not say it. On the way home, I couldn't stop wondering if Kalia would be able to go to the movies with me. This would officially be my first date. When Friday came, I waited for her call all day. I checked the plug, made sure there was a dial tone, and asked my mom if she paid the bill. Then right before it was time to go, finally, the phone rang. Hi, Des. Look, I'm so sorry. I just can't get a ride. I know you were looking forward to it. I'll make it up to you, though. I promise. Man, I was dead. I wanted her to see my freshly cut sign of commitment, but I guess I wasn't that important. She made me wait all day just to tell me she wasn't coming. Thanks. Ooh, job, bruh. Steve blurted out like he couldn't believe it when he picked me up for the movies. He was the first of my friends to see the K cut in the back of my head. When his girlfriend saw me in line at the movies, she tried to whisper to Steve, but I could still hear her. Okay, wow, he really, really likes her. That K in his head is kind of big. Yeah, he's gone, Steve added. She and Steve were all over each other in the movie theater, and I couldn't help but think how that could have been me and Kalia. When we got back to school that Monday, after the break, my hair had grown back, and you could barely see the K. That's sweet, but you didn't have to do that, Kalia glanced at me as I tried to show it off. We've only been together for a few weeks. Yeah, I know, but... She put her finger up to my lips to stop me from talking. Boy, people are going to think I did something to you. Then she walked away, biting her lip to keep from laughing. This was not the outpouring of anointed love I was looking for. Everything with Brianna had been so easy and fun, and now, for the first time, I regretted choosing Kalia. How could she not like my cut? Was I a sucker? This is nothing like I thought it would be. Early December 1989. It was a cold Saturday night, and I had just run back home from the store like I was a part of a bank heist. I turned on the tube, and Ed Lover was doing this silly-looking dance on Yo MTV Raps when the phone rang. Dez, you still up? I heard Jasmine's voice. Yeah, why you whispering? Just in case your mama picked up. Okay, well, you can talk normal now, I laughed. Dez, guess who's spending the night at my house on Friday? At that moment, the world stopped. She didn't have to say who. There was only one person she would call me about. So much for regrets, huh? I dreamed so good about Kalia Sunday night that I messed around and broke into a sweat. I was dead to the world. When I did wake up, I had missed the bus. How the heck I'm gonna get to school? I had never caught the city bus from my part of town. Now, out of necessity, I had to be adventurous. Plus, there was no way I was gonna call my mama at work and tell her I missed the bus. That was like asking for a free ass whooping. It was about 8:30 when I got on the CAT, Chatham Area Transit, 14B, Armstrong, heading into town. Hey, I'm trying to catch the bus to Wesley Wallace Middle School. What do I do? I asked the driver when I got on. Stay put, young man, till we make it to Henry Street. Once you get there, you'll have to get a transfer. Now, from there, it got confusing. I had to talk to a couple of people before I figured it out, but after a couple of hours, I had done something no one else in my neighborhood had done, and it felt good. I made it to school on my own, even though I was 2 hours late. Later that day, I bumped into Jasmine on the way to class. Are you excited about seeing your girl? At first, I looked at her without saying a word. Then she got right in my face, smiled, and poked me in the chest. I know you are. Don't front. I tried to be cool about it, but truthfully, I wanted to break out and sing like Prince Akeem from Coming to America. Remember when Lisa finally agreed to go out with him? I have a date with Lisa, or in my case, I have a date with Kalia. Hey, bruh. Hey. Jasmine poked me to get my attention. You straight? Your mouth was wide open. I'm talking to you and you looking flicted like you blanked out. Nah, I'm good, I said, catching myself. I'm going to walk around there at 5 o'clock. Look, there was nothing nonchalant about it. At that point, my little body was on fire. On the way to Jasmine's house, I had all this smooth Keith Sweat stuff I was going to say. Then I got nervous and I didn't know what to say at all. I stopped at the store, bought a soda, and spit some rhymes to help me relax. When I walked up to her house, they were dancing in the yard. I felt like I was walking on water. Now I was finally going to do something with this girl I was crazy about. Hey, Jasmine. Hey, Kalia. Kalia looked at me and smiled like we were in elementary school. It was coy and sweet. I had never seen her act this shy. What gives? Des, you want something to drink? Jasmine offered. Yeah, sure, I said, taking a glass of Kool-Aid from her hand. Your mom don't care if you have boys around the house all the time? Nah, my mom trusts me. She knows I ain't doing nothing I don't supposed to be doing. Well, I want to do something I'm not supposed to be doing. Why you and Kalia acting like y'all don't know each other, Jasmine asked. Y'all need some privacy? Kalia walked over towards me. No, we're fine. I wanted Jasmine to leave, but Kalia started talking to her about any and everything. Usually around Jasmine, I would be cutting up, but with Kalia, I had to be cool and smooth. I wanted to let her know, I was mature and I could handle having a girl as fine as she was. Eventually, though, I had enough of the small talk and began to make my move until Jasmine interrupted. Hey, Des, it's getting late. She handed me my coat. My mom will be here in a few, so I thought you said she doesn't care. She doesn't, especially when she don't know, she smiled. I'll let y'all say bye. My lips were piping hot for love, but when I leaned in for a kiss, Kalia hugged me and gave me one of those grandma pecks on the cheek. I hugged her tight and my hands inched down towards her butt. Touch it. Yet before I could make a move, she was waving goodbye and walking inside. That's it? All my thoughts of passion went up in smoke. During the long walk home, I had a serious therapy session with myself. It felt like an hour-long walk in early December was worth way more than one itty-bitty kiss. Maybe she wanted me to take the lead by doing what I really wanted, and I blew it. It was no telling when I would see her outside of school again. Damn, why was it so hard to be myself? Mid-December 1989. Weeks later, the temperature in Savannah began to drop, and so did my love life. Something just didn't seem right between us. When we talked on the phone, it dragged, and I didn't know how to make it better. Sometimes she would yawn and make up an excuse to get off, or she had a bunch of homework to do. However, about a week later at the bus stop talking with Malik, my luck began to change. Hey, Des, you seen the previews for that movie Glory they filmed in Savannah? Malik asked me. Nah, what's up? What little Farrakhan talking about, Des? Sean butted in. Look, Sean, don't start that funny shit. My dad was trying to tell y'all that was Farrakhan on them Public Enemy tapes. That's all. Man, Malik, forget Sean. Tell me what you talking about. My dad was talking to me about it at breakfast. It's about the Civil War and some of the black soldiers who fought in it. Y'all going to see it? Yeah, remember Mr. Jenks and Miss Fletcher said we all going to see it this week with our class, he added. I forgot about that, I said as I turned the volume down on my headphones. Maybe I could sit with Kalia on the bus. What you think? I think they probably gonna make us stay with our class. Malik picked up his book bag as the bus approached. Speaking of Kalia, I always wanted to know how you ended up with her. I thought you liked Brianna. When Jasmine told me y'all went together, I thought she was lying. Yeah, man, it's complicated. I shrugged my shoulders. I'll tell you about it one day. When the day came for the movies, we boarded the bus and I looked around for Kalia. Our class got on the bus first and I saved her a seat. A lot of girls knew we went together, so when Kalia got on the bus and walked down the aisle, it felt like a mock wedding. Go ahead and sit with your man, girl, a group of cuties in the back of the bus shouted. Okay, since y'all insist, she laughed and slightly blushed. When she sat down next to me, I knew this was my chance to take charge. I grabbed her hand and held it tightly. I felt proud, and eventually I started rubbing on it, which made me think I was doing something big. Her eyes sparkled and she whispered that she liked how it felt. In the theater, they made boys and girls sit on separate rows. Dang, they so lame, I blurted out as Malik and I walked down the middle aisle. You saw where she went? Nah, I could barely see. Hold up, isn't that her coming down the aisle? Malik motioned. Hey, Des. Kalia whispered after managing to get a seat behind me. Then she gave me a quick hug around my neck before she sat down. If that's making it up to me, I'll take more of that. Hey, Kalia, your perfume smells good, I whispered back. You like it? She had no idea how much my heart was pounding. Her body had been so warm and soft. After our hug, I felt her presence linger on me for minutes. By the time the movie started, I managed to calm down. I loved history and seeing the power of the 54th Regiment, one of the first black group of soldiers in the Civil War, gave me a strong sense of pride. I remember the scene when Denzel Washington's character took off his shirt to get whipped. He had almost 100 lashes across his back, yet he was unafraid. They wanted to beat him for trying to run away when he was only looking for some shoes. The look on his face as they beat him said to me, I don't care how many times y'all hit me, you can't break me. I felt sad when they all died in battle. I looked over my shoulder and saw Kalia tearing up a bit, so I reached out my hand and she held it tight. As we rolled back to school, I thought what happened in the theater was a defining moment in our relationship. I leaned in close to talk. What did you think of the movie? It was so sad. It made me cry, she sighed, still a little emotional from it. Yeah, it was serious. I paused and looked out the window. I really didn't feel like going back to school. Then she tapped me on the shoulder. This feels good. What, the movie, I asked? No, us. It actually feels like a little date, she smiled. Are you planning to see me over the Christmas break? Say the right thing. Say the right thing. Yeah, of course. I hope so, especially if we're going to exchange gifts. She looked to make sure I agreed. This moment made me feel special. I figured she was the girl for me. Now I needed a chance to be alone with her.